Who are Georgia's biggest threats the rest of the season, the rest of the regular season, potential playoff opponents? I've been trying to look at that the last couple of days, just thinking who can really beat this team? Is Georgia really just on a completely different level, or have they just really not had a huge test yet? So I'm going to talk about that. And afterwards I'd like to see what you guys think in the comments as to who the biggest threats are for Georgia. Ryan Curley from Dog Post here, bring you some commentary today. And in the final feelings article we put on dogpost.com, I put what my official top 5 teams in the country are. So I'll kick it off with that because that'll be a good starting point for me to talk about who's really capable of beating the Dogs, right? I think Ohio State's the second best team in the country. I don't know if there's anyone that agrees with me on that, but that's where I stand. I think the Buckeyes are number 2 behind Georgia. I'm pretty confident about that. I don't think Cincinnati is a great story. I think at the moment they are deserving of a playoff spot. I think the way that it'll shake out, they have a good chance to make it this year. Do I think they'll be the number 2 team? No. Are they deserving of their number 2 ranking right now? Yeah. They're the number 2 team in the country according to the AP poll. Are they the second best team in the country according to me? No. And I do get paid to come in here and talk about this. So I think it's the Buckeyes. I think Ohio State is starting to really click on offense. C.J. Stroud, I wasn't sure about him at first, but he's got the moving. Those are NFL receivers. Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave are the real deal. They have a good running back room. Their defense is solid. Not elite, but solid. And, I think that, I think if they were matched up against Georgia, I think that'd be a super exciting game. Just as a football fan, I'd love to watch that. But I think that right now, if you ask me, Ohio State would have the best chance to beat Georgia. I think they have a lot of firepower on offense. I think they could put up 60 if they really wanted to. They dominated Indiana this past weekend. I got to watch, for the first time this season, just sit back and watch football all day without having to worry about covering Georgia. And I watched Ohio State, I watched Oklahoma, I watched Alabama. I watched a little bit of Cincinnati. Cincinnati struggled against Navy. I don't think they'll struggle against Tulane on Saturday. I think they'll have a bounce-back game. But Ohio State, I know that, Alabama-Tennessee is kind of a rivalry game. But Bama struggled for the first 35 minutes of that game. It wasn't good. Tennessee was right there with them and had a lead against them at one point. They exploded there at the end, but that's not good if Tennessee is hanging around with you for that long. Tennessee's better than I think that we give credit for. And honestly, I think when Georgia goes up to Knoxville, it's going to be a little bit bigger of a fight than people may think. I'm not saying it's going to be a one-touchdown game or anything, but it might not be this 30 or 40-point blowout. I think, maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns, but we'll see. We'll see about that. That's a couple weeks from now. But, you look at the remaining schedule for Georgia. Florida this weekend, not the same as it has been the last few years. It's not the same Florida team. I don't think the game is going to be particularly close. Anything can happen. That's why they play football. And then we go to, then Missouri. Shouldn't be close. Georgia should dominate. Tennessee, I just talked about that a little bit. In the end, I think Georgia will win by at least 2 touchdowns. Charleston Southern shouldn't be close. Georgia Tech shouldn't be close. They should dominate the rest of this regular season. I don't think there'll be a close game left on the, and they haven't had, but one close game all year? Clemson, week 1. So this dog team is on another level right now. They are good. They are for real. Ohio State, I'll finish my rankings. I'm kind of all over the map today. Ohio State, I think, is my 2. And then I have Bama at 3. I'll put Cincinnati at 4, and then Oklahoma at 5. We'll see. Michigan State needs to play this weekend. I need to check a little bit of that out for me to put one of them in there. Whoever wins that game. But Oklahoma, for whatever problems Oklahoma has, I know that Kansas game wasn't good. They should have dominated a team like Kansas. Oklahoma can put up 60 in a heartbeat. And that's the reality of it. And if you're a Georgia team, you haven't had to outscore anybody quite yet. Your defense has done so well. You haven't played a super elite offense yet. And I think, Oklahoma, Ohio State, teams like that are teams that put up points, man. They can put up points. Can the Dogs stop them? I think they can at least slow them down. I know this defense could be one of the best of all time, and the season's not over yet. But, I'm very skeptical of Alabama this year. I don't think that this is... And I think Nick Saban even knows it. When you look at his mannerisms, I think he's aware that this is not the team he's had the last 2 years. Look, the team he had last year and the couple of years before that, look at all the NFL talent. Most of that is not there. They're just missing some punch on offense. I'm missing a little bit of something. I like Bryce Young. I don't think he's super elite quite yet. I think he's growing into that. But all the weapons they lost the last 2 years, Najee Harris gone, Jerry Jeudy gone, Devontae Smith gone, and he was a Heisman winner. Mac Jones was a Heisman contender. Tua was a Heisman contender. I'm missing guys. Henry Ruggs. I mean, it was ridiculous how much talent they had leave. They're not the same this year. I don't think that they're as big of a threat as Ohio State is right now. Once you look down the rest of the line, I don't know if anyone can really compete with Georgia other than those maybe 3 teams. Alabama could beat Georgia in the SEC Championship if they make it. And it's not 100% they will. It could be A&M or it could be Ole Miss. I'm having a hard time seeing anyone other than maybe Ohio State, Bama, or Oklahoma beat this Georgia team. And I'm not super convinced that Bama would. I'm not really convinced Oklahoma would. Ohio State would scare me a little bit if I'm Georgia. I really think that they're starting to pick it up and put it together. So Ohio State would be a little bit more of a threat to me. So, because they can score at will, man. They're good. They have talent. C.J. Stroud's starting to look a lot better. Those receivers are the real deal. Georgia's secondary is very good. They have a lot of talent, but they're young and they haven't played a full season together. This is all they've played together. Guys like that will tear you up. And Georgia will have to get to the quarterback if they play a team like Ohio State. Obviously, we'll talk way more about that if it ends up happening later on in the season. But who do you guys think are Georgia's biggest threats? I mean, this is assuming they make the playoff and the championship game, which are likely at this point. Who do you think is the biggest threat to knock the Dogs off? I think it's Ohio State. If you disagree with me or agree with me, let us know in the comments, and we'll see you guys on the site dogpost.com.